It ain't working. It didn't work for me, at least. It didn't work enough, okay? So it's time for us to stand back and to understand this. Does anybody disagree with that? Anybody disagree that we should be the experts at this? That's what we say we are, right? I adjust spines, I correct spines. I am a doctor of chiropractic that looks at the subluxation of this thing and fixes this. I'm really being nice right now to you. This is what we have to do. This is it, right? This is it, man. This is it. And we're not doing it. Okay? You can't tick that into place, I promise you. You can't capitalize TIC at the end of our profession and say that's good to go. It ain't gonna work. Okay? So that's what we decide to do. So that's what that looks like. Okay? So today is what I want to do is I want to talk about an old story. And I want to give you a new way to look at it. And again, it's not the right way. It's only another way that opens a door to trying to understand this. And I hope you people take it even further when I'm gone, and further, because look in the profession, right? What's the stuff that we're learning? What's the stuff that we're doing? 40s, 20s, 30s, 50s, okay? Nobody in here is driving a 50s car and has a rotary phone. Okay, and the profession needs to get up. If we've got a philosophy model of 5 things and 5 stages of the vertebral subluxation complex, we need to build a model biomechanically that also exemplifies that. Yes? Of course we do. We can't just have a philosophy that this affects everything, and if we just put a force in, everybody sings hallelujah. Okay? Well, it's true, it does happen. Okay? Because the body is amazing. So imagine if we understood this better. Imagine if we could understand how to predictably release it, correct it, and get everything moving at the same place within a system that measures. And that's where we step, okay? So this system right here starts out being tensegral. You know that, right? You know from tensegrity, yeah? Okay? And what happens is that we want to start using terms that are current in the biomechanics. Is tensegrity, Ingber, Levin, those guys out there, PhDs, MDs, okay, smart dudes from Harvard, okay, they're looking at these things, they are coming up with models. That's where tensegrity comes from, besides Buckminster Fuller. And then understanding that this system has been traumatized, is that correct? Does it also compensate? Does it have a brain? Does it do what it's supposed to do? Yeah. So how about a model that includes tensegrity, where we start, trauma, compensation, compression. Do you see compression there? This is open. Anytime you see a bend, you have compression, right? So do you think that this thing needs to be opened up? Yeah, of course it does. Because gravity is killing people. Gravity is the largest stressor to the human body. I tell my patients, gluten's got nothing on gravity, guys. Yeah, they get that. Okay? You can get away from gluten. You can't get away from gravity. And when the human body is subluxated and it's been traumatized and it's misaligned, it is being compressed and it's squashing. Look at it. This area is where the heart and lungs sit in. I don't talk about back pain to people. I talk about them suffering in their life in this compression. Take your heart and lungs and do this to it. Is that good? Why do you think blood pressure goes up? Why do you think Nuka is able to get blood pressure change? Because we open the body when we do chiropractic. We put energy into it that lifts it and opens it. This is exciting. And then looking at this, is this a system in tension? Yes, this is a system in tension. Why is it in tension? Because gravity is going to knock it over otherwise. And that tension is what you feel every single time you touch somebody, every time you bend over and go, oh, every time you move your shoulder, when you turn your neck, you can't bend this way, but you can bend this way. You all feel it already. I know you do because you've been getting adjusted. You feel it more when you're getting adjusted in school. Okay, so this system is in tension. It's turning here, it's turning there, it's low here. Where do you start? It's complicated. It's not simple. It is really, really complicated, and we've made it really, really simple. Okay? And it's not serving us. All right? We also have a 3D system here. So we need a system that is 3-dimensional. We also have a system that's alive. This is a live responding system. We need something in real time to be able to watch it. We shouldn't use a rendering on a piece of plastic that's 10 years old and say that's where he was. Okay? So, this is a guy right here that came to visit me. He's been to 2 upper cervical doctors. He lives in Saudi Arabia, and he came to see me. Okay, after he went to another state, he came to see an upper cervical guy, left him, went to another guy, and that guy sent him to me, and we'll show you his pictures when we get done. But these are the questions that I've been asking is, how do we look at this thing and figure it out and say, how do we change that? Not just from one bone, but from a whole system. Anybody into that? Anybody? Makes sense, yeah, right? Okay. So it's not, again, I don't have the answers. I only have questions. I'm just telling you, I just got questions, guys, okay? All right. So, if you look at this stuff, you could see that every single person on this list and more, there's 250 plus chiropractic procedures. There's probably more. I've been using 250 forever, okay? So every one of these people, Dee Dee felt the bump in the back. You think there's going to be a muscle spasm there trying to hold that up? Of course there is. It's shorter. It has to be. There's a muscle spasm. That's what muscles do. They make things shorter. What about Desjardins? You think there's going to be occipital fibers up on this guy's head? As he's standing here like this, you think those things are going to be biting down so his head doesn't fall off? You better believe it. Do you think, I think I spelled, there's 2 L's, I believe it's 1 L, but do you think that the body is having spasms through this thing to try to hold it up? You better believe it. So some of that motion palpation stuff that you do with Gillet is there because the body is doing it because it's smart. That's why blood pressure goes up also in this type of person, because you take a balloon and squash it, what do you think it does? The blood pressure increases inside, so what do you think the heart has to do? It has to increase the blood pressure. And constantly, if we're looking at outcomes, if we're looking at symptoms, if we're being mechanistic, and we're just using point and play, oh, it's the subluxation station, oh, it's a leg check, oh, it's heat, and this kind of stuff, and you're looking for a change, it's not good enough, because you're actually going against the body. We need to go synergistically with the body. And there's a method maybe to be able to release this whole thing as a unit and do it so it helps the body and always helps the body and doesn't go against the body. Because what happens if you made an adjustment and you went right into this thing because you felt the spasm here? Would that be a good thing going into that? No, that would buckle that thing. So we start looking at full spines, we start looking at posture 3-dimensionally, and we're going to start looking at relationships and how things have responded. Okay? And it's complex. All right, and all this stuff from Gregory and Gonstead. Gregory looked up here, Gonstead looked down there. Are they wrong? No, they're brilliant. They were perfect. Okay, but we need to be able to integrate all this information that we've had for the past 110, 20 years and get this thing moving in the right direction. Okay, so questions. That's kind of the vision of what started this thing for me. Questions? So if I had an anterior atlas, but I had a posterior pelvis, I started changing the position of the person so that anterior vector that I was coming in with, like a NUCA, would reverse and change. So when it went into the atlas, it would come around and try to swing the pelvis out too. That's where it started. And then I started going and going and going and going and going. I incorporated the shoulder, then we incorporated the leg, then we incorporated the rotations, then we incorporated the bend that we called bow, the bow of the box. We looked at the neck and the head, and I'll talk about some of those things. And then we put it all together, and then all of a sudden, kind of the heavens all opened up, and we'll get to that. Okay? And it's been through trial and error and losing patients too in between. You know, but I would have lost them anyway because I couldn't fix them. So I lost them because I probably, messed them up even further because I didn't understand what was going on. And if you're adjusting people right now, and you keep seeing that PI ilium, and you keep adjusting somebody and they're not getting better, and what are you going to say? All right, come on over, let's try something different. You just start shooting all over the place, man. You just like pow, 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 pow. All right, come on over here, I'll block you. Come on over here, I'll put the activator. Come on, I'll do an extremity. Hey, somebody check the shoulder. Hey, let me send you for a massage. It was making me crazy. Yeah. Welcome to chiropractic. You know? So, we're at a good spot. Okay, I'm going to end on a great place. Okay, so here we go. Let's just talk about what happens. Okay, because you can't look at anything until you kind of look at where it should be. Okay, you have to know where you are, and you have to know where you got to go. I mean, it's no different than driving your car home. You just don't go random, okay? How many adjustments do you do that are random? Just bang, 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 bang. Okay, we all do it. This isn't me against you. It's me against everybody, actually. No, it's just the way it goes, okay? So the first thing that happens is this human being, before it's born, okay, maybe it gets its head pulled out and gets yanked, and that's where it all starts, okay, is it's tensigral. It's up. It's open. Okay, the bones are not supporting the body. The bones are only giving the body form. Okay, ability to move. All right, so we're not just a blob, but the body is expanded up and open. All right, I saw a research thing from some biomechanics guy. He said if the body was not tensigral and you bent over like this, the stress at your low back would snap you in half. Do it to a brick wall, it breaks. We're not a pile of bricks. Okay, we're tensigral, we're open. Okay, we want to be orthogonal. Orthogonal is all three dimensions live in a balanced place. Sagittal plane, frontal plane, transverse plane. And the best place would be to be optimal, because we're talking about the physical world here, is to be balanced. All right? So there are 4 sections that we look at, and they interrelate each other. They are not independent of each other because they're connected. So they can't do what they want to do, but there's 4 sections that are related. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So we look at the 4 sections in this system. We also look at myofascial symmetry. Is that the myofascial envelope is this big thing that's plastic of all this stuff and all this soft tissue running through and all the anatomy trains from Myers and all the muscles is with all the fascia that's the thing that's blown up and supporting this thing. All right? That's the tensigral model. And that's the newest biomechanics model that's looking at the myofascial envelope as the supportive structure because we're up and open. Biotensegrity, yes?
When you are correcting someone, do you find their fascia, like derangements in their fascia, does that need to be addressed as well with soft tissue, or is it something that is correcting itself as you're unwinding?
Yes and yes. Okay, so some people release, okay, and they release, okay? Some people, sections release, and other ones are more damaged and you have to release them, and then what we do is we give everybody very specific exercises, 3 of them, based on their misalignment to try to open that up and restore that stuff. You definitely have to, you can't just pop this thing open, you have to be able to restore some symmetry. I'll show you why. See that? Why does it do that? Because it's used to that. So when you have somebody stand up and they're like this, and you release this in a certain way, that is going to creep back down unless you give them some work down in this core, and easy stuff, like, 2 minutes a day stuff, nice consistent, yes, definitely. Yeah, listen, I live in a paradigm that, this is the paradigm I live in, okay? Is the body goes off center, it collapses, okay? We'll get into detail of that. When I release it, those people have to create symmetry, okay? They have to have detoxification from all the garbage that's built up in here. So we want to detox it, and then you want to infuse good stuff in, because at the end of the day, it's the blood, oxygen, nutrition into those areas that need to be increased, okay? That to me is the ultimate health, and it goes all the way back to the Old Testament. It says blood, the life is in the blood, okay? Pretty simple. Okay? It doesn't mean that the life's not in the nervous system, but it's the blood that gives the oxygen and nutrition to the nervous system, to the myofascial envelope, to everything in the body. So when the body goes off center and it collapses, it creates all this effusion and all this congestion from all these contractions, whether it's short or it's long, it's in tension compression. And what's going to happen is going to lack blood and oxygen. So that's why the body starts barking. Right? What does it do first? Carry a suitcase. I came from the airport. I carried my suitcase. Guess what happens? My arm got tired. I didn't get neuropathy first. I got muscle pain. So the body's freaking awesome. It says, hey, I'm not going to give the guy cancer right off the bat. I'm going to make his arm hurt. So maybe he'll wake up. I told you, this is about waking up. Okay? So I wake up and I say, okay, I got muscle pain. So the patient doesn't come in. Everybody's has a headache and a back pain. Do you go run to the chiropractor? No. You wait till you're dying. Okay?